Manchester City are negotiating a new contract with Erling Haaland. Now, this could have major implications on the Premier League, and if Haaland stays, he is quickly expected to break Alan Shearer's Premier League goal-scoring record within, 3 years, which is insane. And this just shows, right, football has changed, and Haaland's contract will reportedly allow him to have control over his future moves as well. So instead of his agent sort of having a lot of the say and the clubs and everything, Haaland will have that control. I think that's a good thing because it's the players moving to the club, so the players should have a say in where he goes. And his agent, who is Mino Raiola, he was a key figure in this sort of promoting player power in moves between clubs and enabling football stars to move frequently between bigger clubs, and this is what Haaland can reportedly do with this contract. And he was expected to Haaland's career was sort of expected to follow this sort of pattern, moving from club to club, but football's dynamics have sort of shifted, and when Man City signed Haaland, it was seen as more of a businessy transaction type thing. You know, his potential move to La Liga in his mid-20s as well was on the cards then, and the transfer market is now less fluid, and like big clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona either don't need players or can't afford players like Haaland as well. And especially now with Real Madrid getting Kylian Mbappe. With this, Haaland is unlikely to move to another Premier League club, and many top players are going to stay longer at their current clubs due to market constraints and things like that. A new contract at Manchester City could keep Haaland there for 3 or 4 more years, maintaining their dominance in the league. And a new contract at Manchester City would keep Haaland there for about 3 or 4 more years, and this would just mean that the Premier League, which it already is going to be even more of a farmers' league. Man City are just going to dominate the league for the next couple of years, especially with Erling Haaland. He's reportedly going to earn up to £800,000 per week with bonuses, obviously mostly for goals, and a new contract would likely increase his wages even further. So he's going to be earning even more than £800,000 per week, and any new contract is expected to include a release clause as well, potentially achievable for clubs like Real Madrid, but such clauses are becoming sort of less attractive, and all the release clauses that clubs put on players are becoming less attractive altogether. And players like Haaland may stay longer in the Premier League as clubs are hesitant to spend larger transfer fees. Yes, do what you want, and I know because the Premier League is the richest league in the world, teams can't pay money for brilliant players in the Premier League because they are just too much, and most teams in La Liga, Serie A, the Ligue 1, they can't afford, especially players like Haaland, who's going to have maybe a massive release clause. And look, Haaland's an amazing player. He's probably one of the best in the Premier League because he just scores goals, and especially he's going to break Alan Shearer's record in the next probably couple of years, which is just mind-blowing. A lot of players at Manchester City, though, have relegation clauses in their contracts because Manchester City could face the sanctions that will be put on them due to their ongoing legal courses. And Haaland, even if they were relegated, he wouldn't be stuck at Manchester City, so he could go to another big club in the Premier League, and his contract would allow him to leave, which is good. He's not stuck at Manchester City if they do get relegated, and his contract renewal would reinforce Manchester City's just complete strength and dominance, really. And with this, he has limited alternatives outside the Premier League. So he's going to stay here and just keep dominating the league with Manchester City. I mean, football in general is just becoming more predictable. I mean, with Manchester City dominating everything, the excitement it's becoming less and less, because transfers and competition just can't compete with the juggernaut that is Manchester City, and they're just going to get even better with Haaland staying. I mean, other top players like Alexander Isak or Ollie Watkins are staying at their clubs due to their high transfer fees and clubs not being able to afford them. The overall landscape of football has shifted, and it's making it harder for clubs to buy players and for those players to move easily between those clubs. But things like this, it benefits Manchester City, and it could make the Premier League just less competitive, which it will do. We've seen it already is, really, with Manchester City winning the league like almost every year in the past couple of years. And with this, Haaland has fewer options to move between different clubs because people can't afford him. And because he's such an amazing player, if he stays at Manchester City, the Premier League's going to become rubbish because you're just going to have Manchester City winning it all the time. And as we maybe already are, we're turning into a farmers' league. I guess we're going to have to get even more used to Manchester City completely dominating the league all the time again. So what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the new contract for Erling Haaland? Get them in the comments, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.